There's the old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man I don't like to be. What does he care if the world's got trouble? What does he care if the land ain't free? Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters. He don't plant cotton. Them that plants them is soon forgotten. But old man River, he just keeps rolling along. As long as I can remember, that's the song I get asked to sing once people figure out that I'm a baritone. Old Man River. It was written by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein, but it comes from a musical showboat that's based on a book by a young Jewish lady who understood what it was like to be discriminated against both because she was a woman and because of her ethnic heritage. She spent a year researching and writing this epic book that would become a legendary musical. Her story depicts the many difficulties and experiences of blacks in the underclass against the relentless and constant, seemingly indifferent flow of the Mississippi River. The song is sung by an old black man named Joe, a longshoreman, a dock worker, and we see the experiences through his eyes, an African American perspective. To me, the Harlem Renaissance represented the opportunity for the world to experience the culture of American blacks through their own eyes, as told through their art, their literature, and of course, their music. And even those who told their stories who weren't black, like Ferber, Kern, and Hammerstein, benefited from the greater collection of authentic African American authored reflections and critiques. How old Joe sees the world is important. His voice matters, and so does yours, and so does mine. I shared with them how music has been used in different time periods and by different cultures to champion the cause of the oppressed and to break down barriers. I shared a video of Paul Robeson, the very famous actor and legendary bass baritone, who's the most famous portrayer of Old Joe in Showboat. In 1949, he was singing to a group of Scottish miners in Edinburgh. While he was part of the Harlem Renaissance, now he was passing the torch all around the world to others who were struggling for freedom. The song he sang was entitled Joe Hill. Let's take a listen.
When you see a miner and a film star together, the husky one's the miner. Well, usually. And before he went away, of course, they asked him to sing.
I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. and standing there as big as life and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. I dreamed I saw Joe you last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. I never died, says
As I continued working with my general music students, I wanted to demonstrate to them how to write a song. So I shared my process with them, and I wrote a song about what was going on in the world at the time, right around the death of George Floyd. Although the song was not finished, I went ahead and just for illustrative purposes, I shared with them what I had created. One of my students' parents overheard the song and then sent me an email saying that she and her daughter were deeply touched by it and wanted to know if they could share it with their church. Well, I knew I needed to fix it up a little bit, so I went online and I got someone to make a lyrics video of it for me, and I want to share it with you now. I share it with you today to inspire you. Use your voice like those of the Harlem Renaissance, like Paul Robeson, to speak for the oppressed and to speak the truth. Use your voice like Fannie Lou Hamer, who rose from poverty in the Mississippi Delta to become a great champion for women's and labor rights. Use your voice like A. Philip Randolph, who organized black workers into labor unions. Use your voice. Those in the Harlem Renaissance showed us what to do. Now I pass the torch on to you. I have a problem breathing. I have to wear a mask. It's not because of COVID. It's just because I'm black. Perhaps you haven't noticed, so let me make it clear. I come in peace, I come in love, yet now I live in fear, 'cause I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Accept me as a child of God who wants life just like you, 'cause I can't breathe when you treat me like you do. In conclusion, I just want to invite you to form habits of excellence and expression. Break down barriers. Speak truth to power now, but be resourceful, respectful, and creative. Break down barriers. Change comes slowly sometimes, but make sure that you document your journey. It will help those who come after you. Be the change you want to see. Make big dreams and then slice them up into little steps and take immediate action on one of those steps. Then form the habit of doing one step each day. Break down the barriers. Don't stop taking action. Make it your habit. And you will find that you will continue to break down barriers as you grasp the wisdom of those who have gone before and mix it with your determination and with your current experience. Break down the barriers. Old Joe, he had a story to tell. I have a story to tell too. Those in the Harlem Renaissance, they had many stories to tell. But now, it's your turn. And your story will break down barriers for those to come. Thank you.